We're going to take a quick break and come back with former Vikings quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, now has a bracket challenge named after him, the Brad Johnson Bracket Challenge. A lot of former teammates are in it. I'm in it. Superstar's in it. Ben's in it. And we'll talk to him. I think last time I looked, Brad Johnson was doing pretty damn good in his own little deal there. We'll talk to him, Brad Johnson, when we return.
Sports Radio 105 The Ticket.
My two youngest kids.
Third down, goal for the 3. Johnson, quick throw. No, I thought he threw. He still got it. Johnson at the 5. He's going to go in. Touchdown! Had the presence of mind to catch the ball, and he was able to use that speed, outrun a couple defensive linemen into the end zone.
Never gets too tired listening about Brad Johnson scoring a touchdown. Brad, how are you?
Doing great, Bob. How you doing?
Not too bad. Now, I just took a look at the standings in the Brad Johnson NFL Alumni March Madness Bracket Challenge. You're sitting pretty good. You're tied for 5th out of is it almost 100 people in it? Let me get the exact number. 99 people in it. That's not too shabby.
That is great, but my only problem, Bob, is there's two guys in front of me.
Yeah.
The great Leroy Horde, touchdown maker, and the great Chuck Foreman. They're ahead of me. We got the same picks. You know, we all pick Kentucky to win it.
Well, you know what? Here's your other problem, Brad. I could win this because I don't know how I got into it, but I believe in the celebrity portion. I'm the only one that picked Duke, and if Duke wins, I think I could win the that portion of it. And
well, you're the outlier, so I know who you're pulling for.
You darn tootin'.
Hey, the greatest thing. There's two great things about this whole deal.
Good.
One is Randall McDaniel. He finished last year.
Yeah.
Last. And he was the first one to dial in his NCAA bracket this year. He was first after week 1, but now he's like 36th place.
He fell.
A huge improvement, but the guy we expected, Todd, I will block you till tomorrow, Stussy. Right now he's in 97th place. How do you explain that?
Oh, that's not good.
How do you explain that one, Bob?
You can't explain it, Brad. He only got 33 right. Even I did a lot better and he had Louisville, who he could wind up falling into last place.
He thought that's a sketch. So it was, I don't know. It's fun. It's been a great bracket, though. It's been awesome. It's been really kind of cool that we kind of reunited with a lot of players, former players, sports writers, and everyone. There's been a lot of trash talking in between, and the website's grown from last year, and the bracket's got a lot bigger this year. But you know, it's obviously on BikeFans.com.
Yep.
And they did Tom Moore. He does a great job with it. Just reuniting a lot of former players, the interviews that they have, the stories that they tell. And I just would encourage everybody to go on BikeFans.com and just kind of reunite with a lot of players. And they do a great job of keeping all the players now that are taking place with the Minnesota Vikings. So it's pretty awesome.
Well, it is, and it's a neat website, and Tom does do a really good job, as you mentioned. The thing I got to ask you, Brad, is offensive linemen get this reputation for being so bright. Stussy and Randall are kind of hurting that a little bit. And one of them, they're both pretty bright guys, generally speaking.
Well, Jeff Christie made all the calls, so Randall could hear the call, but then Stussy was on his own out there on the island. So.
That's good.
But they're great guys, and they say as you know, it's all just pick'ems. You know.
Oh yeah.
Games.
Absolutely.
I still can't get over the Stephen F. Austin game when the ball was on the rim like that with Utah. So who knows?
Now, do you obviously you pick Kentucky? You feel any different after seeing how the Final Four shakes out? You think Wisconsin has a shot, or are you still confident it'll be Kentucky?
That's a shakeup. I mean, it's kind of neat for me, Bob. In 6th grade, I played against this kid named Sean Miller. And then when I was at Florida State, we played against Pittsburgh, and Sean Miller was the point guard. So I was kind of pulling for Arizona. I did have Wisconsin in my pick, but that's gonna be a great matchup. Kentucky, somehow they squeaked it by the other day, but winning 38 in a row, there's not a whole lot of luck to that. They're a tough team, so it'll be fun to watch. And I did pick Duke, but unfortunately, I picked Virginia in that other bracket, which Michigan State made it. So who knows which one? Who knows how the thing's going to shake down?
Now, Brad, I know you played basketball in high school, right? And
right.
You didn't play any. You didn't have time. You could not play it in college, or did you play a little bit?
I did. I played 2 years at Florida State. We made
That's what I thought.
Twice. I started my freshman year. My freshman year, we got beat by Iowa out at UCLA in the first round. They had B.J. Armstrong and Marble, and that's just a really good team. I think we got beat 95-90. And then the next year, we had a really good team. We were ranked 7th in the country, and we had George McCloud as a point guard. and we played Middle Tennessee State, and I think we were the number 4 seed. And you talk about March Madness, it happened to us. We were I think we had a 12 or 13 point lead with 13 minutes to go in the game, and then we got blown out by Middle Tennessee State at the end of the game. They had a guy named Mike Buck who averaged like 1 point a game. He scored 27 points.
Oh man!
And we went boxing one on this white guy. So it was crazy. But it's definitely March Madness, and I was fortunate enough to at least to experience it twice.
We're talking to Brad Johnson, former Vikings quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback, about, he's got his own, the Brad Johnson NFL Alumni March Madness Bracket Challenge, and talk to him about having played. So you started as a freshman. Did you start your sophomore year too?
No, not my freshman year. I actually got to leave football a little bit earlier, kind of like in late October, November when the season started, when it began. And kind of got in the lineup. I think I started like 13 games. In my sophomore year, I had to stay with the football team all the way through December. So I kind of came out late. We had a transfer, Irv Thomas, who came in, who ended up playing for the Lakers. So I came off the bench a little bit my sophomore year. Didn't play quite as much as my freshman year, but played with some great teams, and it was just it was pretty awesome to be a part of. You realize how good college basketball players, not alone professional players.
Well, Brad, were you a redshirt freshman in football? Is that why you were able to come out early?
Yeah, I got redshirted, so I kind of got to lead the team early that year, and it just worked out that way. The biggest part of playing 2 sports is, they overlap. They overlap in the fall, but then in the spring, because they're going to the NCAA tournament, I would miss half of spring football. I missed 10 of the 20 days, so I was kind of falling behind in both, and that's kind of a big reason why I had to choose one sport. Was
football a full scholarship, or did the 2 teams split? How did that work out?
Yeah. Basically, I was on scholarship for football, and then basically a walk on for basketball. That's kind of the way it worked. And then Charlie Ward came after me, and then he ended up winning the Heisman at Florida State. Played basketball. He had some great teams too with Bob Sura, Doug Edwards, Sam Cassell. And I think they got to the Elite 8, and then, kind of opposite for Charlie, he chose to play professional basketball. I think played 11 years in the NBA.
Well, Brett, was it, because this doesn't happen that often now, it happens even less, but even then, was Florida State more open to it than other colleges and universities to let guys play both football and basketball? A lot of places, they wouldn't even hear it.
And I wanted to play basketball for Bobby Crimmins, but Coach Walsh had me in his office, and he started going through the playbook and started spitting out all the names and numbers of plays. He's like, I don't think you can do this, son. And I knew I wasn't going to happen there, but when I went to Florida State, Bobby Bowden, he encouraged it, not only to me, but to all of us. If a guy was a football track kid, think about Deion Sanders, he did football, baseball, and track. And the list of athletes went on at Florida State, and they actually encouraged guys, if they were good enough to do that, they can handle the academic load to go ahead and do that. So it was kind of cool to be a part of, to be able to do something like that, especially let someone like Bobby Bowden do that for you too.
Who was the basketball coach for you? Who was your coach then?
We had Pat Kennedy, and so we had some great teams there. Not only my 2 years, but then again with Charlie Ward, Doug Edwards, and Sam Cassell after us.
Now, did you know when you started, when you said you were a walk-on early on, again, talking to Brad Johnson about this, did you know it wasn't going to last for your entire college career, and you figured you'd go as long as you did? Because as you became more of a player in football, it couldn't last.
You know what? It was tough for me because I was actually competing in both sports. I was going against Casey Weldon in football, and in basketball, we just had some great players, and I was behind them. And with Charlie Ward, he was a legit starter, and he was a legit starter in basketball. So he was able to miss some of that spring football practice also. So it was a little bit tougher with me, but I knew if I was ever going to make it for me in football, I was going to have to choose one sport, and it just kind of worked out, especially my first year. With the red shirt year, I could leave football early, so I kind of got in shape and kind of helped me out a little bit better.
Now, are you still playing any kind of pickup basketball, or have you put down the football, basketball, all sporting, except for maybe a golf club?
I am a commissioner here. We've had a group of guys for the last 4 years. We play, it's called 6 a.m. early risers. So on 2 days a week, on Tuesday and Thursday at 6 a.m., we are in the gym. We've got jerseys made up for everybody. They all got nicknames. And the commissioner gave it to them, so I'm the commissioner. And then we pull it with the scoreboards up, and we have about 14 to 18 guys that show up every Tuesday, Thursday. We kind of form these different games, and so I kind of do it that. But it's a slow pace, Bob, very slow.
Well, Brad, are you nuts? You could have slept in a little bit. Why didn't you have them show up at 8 o'clock instead of 6? I guess the other guys all have jobs they have to get to.
They all have jobs, so we got to be done by 7:15 every day.
Now, what are you doing? I mean, how many kids do you have now, Brad?
I have 2 boys.
And what are their ages?
They're Max and Jake. They're both in 6th and 7th grade.
So you're following them.
I coach all their teams. I coach the middle school football team, middle school basketball teams, and just stay active with my kids and a bunch of other kids. This past year, I had 54 kids in the football program and 53 in the basketball. I had 5 basketball teams I coached during the week, and then we kind of let pawn 3 of those teams off on game day, but I practiced them all, though.
Wow. Talking to Brad Johnson, former Viking quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback with Tampa Bay. Now, both your kids quarterbacks, or what positions do they play in football?
My oldest son, Max Johnson, he's a quarterback, and he loves it, and that's what he plays, so it's kind of worked out well for us. My other son, Jake, he's a tight end, and he loves basketball, and he's kind of in all that kind of stuff. But they love playing all kinds of sports and kind of fun to watch.
Are they on the same team, or because they're only 1 grade apart?
They have been. Then this past year, my son Max, he was on the middle school team, and Jake had to be on the youth team, the 6th grade team. And then this next year, they'll both be on the middle school team together.
Well, that'll be neat. So basically, from middle school, you're looking at 6 years of watching them play together as teammates. Pretty much, right?
It's kind of cool, yeah. It's fun. It's fun.
Wow, that's good.
And especially be able to coach a kid right now, and so I'm very fortunate, and, grateful that the school lets me do that.
Now, both of them going to have Dad's height.
You know what? I think Jake, my youngest son, I think he's about a 6'7", 6'8" kind of kid. And
Seriously?
Max, I think he's about 6'3", 6'4" kid. So who knows? They still got a lot of Wheaties to eat, but I think that's kind of where their bodies are shaping out.
Well, Brad, you were 6'4", right? That's what you are?
I'm 6'5".
6'5", okay. Was your wife very tall? 6'7", 6'8", that's some height.
He's heading on that. He's a tall kid.
Oh my gosh!
But yeah, my wife Nikki, she played volleyball in college, and she's a tall girl.
Oh, Brad, you certainly married well when it comes to having athletic children, because it comes from both sides of the family.
My speed. Hopefully, I don't get my speed, Bob.
Well, your wife had to be pretty quick if she played volleyball, right?
Deceivingly.
That's pretty good. Talking to Brad Johnson, former Vikings quarterback, Super Bowl winning quarterback. Now, Brad, have you been following everything that's going on up here with AP and everything else? With the Vikings?
A little bit. I don't know all the day-to-day stuff, so I really don't know exactly what's taking place. And hopefully they can work it out. I really don't know what's going on there. I know North Turner, he's a great offensive coordinator, and hopefully that would set itself up. But there's so much going on there besides football, so I really wouldn't know all the ins and outs of that.
You played for Norv, right?
I did. I played
Washington?
for 2 years in Washington. Sure did.
Yeah, he's, obviously the guy, there's nobody in football that knows more about running an offense than he does.
He's had awesome running backs, too. he had Emmitt Smith, LaDainian Thompson, Ricky Williams. The list goes on with him. And he just has a way of matching up, great runners, getting everyone the ball, and then, putting a great play-action player, game plan with it. And obviously Teddy had a really good year last year, and he'll grow from last year. And considering everything that took place last year, from playing a rookie quarterback to losing Adrian Peterson to just dealing with a new system, new coaches, they had a good season, considering everything that took place.
Now, Brad, let me ask you this one question before you go. When people say, "Oh, you played in the," when they know, if they don't know who you are, you played in the NFL. What was your team? I know you have a number to mention, but where do the Vikings come in? Do they come in as the first one you mentioned, or are they second to Tampa after winning the Super Bowl with them? With the Bucs.
Well, obviously for me, obviously winning a Super Bowl, that's kind of where you'll be kind of remembered more as far as that. And there's unbelievable teammates there. And I spent 4 years there, but I think about my 9 years that I had in Minnesota. I was there, obviously I was there for 7 years, and I got drafted in the 9th round, then came back for 2 more later. But just the friendships and bonding. And what was pretty cool for me, Bob, was a couple years ago when Warren Sapp made the Hall of Fame, Chris Carter made the Hall of Fame the same year. And so when the Hall of Fame speeches are over, they had they had these big tents, and they separate. And I was fortunate enough that you can't just go from tent to tent. You have to have, your passes to get in there. And to go in there and to celebrate with all those former players that we played with at Chris Carter's Hall of Fame was unbelievable. And then, right around the corner, I was with Warren Sapp and all the Tampa Bay Bucs. So
that's pretty good.
I consider them both home for me. and just grateful for all the coaches and players that I was able to play with.
Oh, that's neat. And Brad, you know what? I want Duke to win, but if Kentucky's going to win, I'm sorry you're not going to beat Chuck Foreman or Leroy Horde.
Well, I can't win, so now I'm pulling for you, Bob.
Well, Brad, thanks so much. The Brad Johnson NFL Alumni March Madness Bracket Challenge. Brad, great talking to you. We'll stay in touch. All right, take care. All right, bye. Brad Johnson, former Vikings quarterback, Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl winning quarterback. Always great talking to him. That was I knew he had played basketball, and I didn't realize that he had played 2 years with Florida State. Great guy.